Hey hackers, I'm Bosco Lazam Movement Canada, and I'm introducing one of this year's Hack Toronto challenges, Prayer for the Least Reached, presented by one of our lead sponsors and partners, Global Gates Network of Canada. Now, Global Gates Canada focuses on reaching the world's least reached people groups through gateway cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal. They believe God has brought the nations here so that disciples made in these cities can spark movements that reach back across the world. The executive director, Chris Carr, will also be one of the judges of the challenges. Now, while I'm not on staff at Global Gates, I'm connected with many of the orgs and networks listed in your brief, and the whole concept of unreachable groups and least reach actually came out of the Lausanne movement historically. And am ready to connect you with the different pieces, catalyze some sparks, and create the plethora of groups, ministries, and data partners for the sake of collaboration. Now, here's another thing you may not know. Toronto actually has this remarkable spiritual story. For example, in the late 1800s, we were known as the evangelical center of the New World, with more churches per capita than anywhere else in North America. Billy Graham said that that's why we were known as Toronto the Good. And with our spiritual heritage and neutrality in the world, God could really use it as us as a world leader in spiritual renewal. And I think he's kind of right on that because I'm seeing God do amazing things in our days. For example, did you know that InterVarsity Christian Fellowship started right here on U of T campus in 1929, and down the street at Convocation Hall in 1946 was the first ever North American Student Missions Convention, now known as Urbana. Many global missions agencies are still headquartered in Toronto today because, you know what? Many of them, like SIM Serving Mission, was founded right here, and we've seen much impact globally come from here. This city has always sent people into the harvest field of the world. But today, while Toronto is known for its diversity, we're not really known for being a prayerful city for that diversity because that harvest field has come into our own doorsteps. How can we mobilize awareness and prayer for the unreached people groups, the least reached, who lived right here beside us, where God is already at work? That's what this challenge is all about. How might we design an inspiring digital or community-based experience that mobilizes sustained prayer for the least reached peoples of the Greater Toronto Area? Or put it into another way, how might every believer in Toronto from all areas, both reached and unreached, community groups, take one prayerful step towards those furthest from the gospel? There's no single right answer here, but there's much opportunity and much assets. We're inviting your creativity to imagine, design, and build something that helps this city pray. Your brief package includes a plethora of resources to get started, local insights and data from Global Gates and North America UPG, open civic maps and neighborhood data, and Canadian resources like Pray for the Nations. You can also look at the UK Prayer Walk app, first developed at Indigenous Hack 2021 with a team of 4 people, which lets people track and visualize prayer across their cities. You're free to use it, adapt it, or improve on it and create your own versions. The creator's WhatsApp contact is actually listed right in your brief, and he's available this weekend if you want support or code access. Beyond tech, there's already a living prayer ecosystem here, like the Toronto Prayer Breakfast, which I'm also a part of, the Ontario Prayer Breakfast, Ignite Prayer, Mission GTA, the All Division Toronto Police Prayer Walk in Toronto, a 24/7 prayer, the Canada House of Prayer, the Fellowship of Faithful Muslims, and many, many more prayer. Each of them are doing amazing work, all friends of mine, and though often siloed or disconnected, this challenge is also a chance to imagine how these efforts can link together, how we can contribute to them as a resource, and how technology might even help them see one another, collaborate, and help us pray as one city with a little focus on the least reached peoples. Because here's the thing. In Matthew chapter 9, Jesus said, "The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Ask the Lord of the harvest to send out workers into his harvest field." It is God's harvest field, and that's what we're doing here. Asking, praying, and building towards that, using your gifts and to really mobilize prayer. Because when we pray for workers, we often discover we may be the ones being sent. Imagine Toronto becoming not just Toronto the Good, but Toronto the Prayerful. Not just for the Blue Jays to win this weekend at the World Series, but we want it all for God's glory. Can we be a city where prayer is both in our homes, in our buildings, and out on the streets? What if we pray for our neighbors by name or people group, where people pray for their neighbors by name and where the nations live among those who seek who speak over, where the nations are living among, who speak over 200 different languages, are covered in prayer. That's the dream. A city of prayer for the world, a house of prayer for all nations. So that's your challenge. Read through your brief package. Everything you need is there. The vision, the data, the networks, and the contact info. I'm Bosco of Lausanne Movement Canada, presenting this on behalf of Global Gates Network of Canada. Let's ask the Lord of the harvest to move into Toronto as the harvest is plentiful and the workers are few. Let's build something that helps our city pray for the world and for the nations right here at home. Let's get to work.